is Mahima. Thanks for tuning in. I'm delighted today to introduce you to a very talented personal branding strategist, Shubhangi Madan. If you are active on LinkedIn, you will see many thought-provoking posts by Shubhangi on how to develop your own personal brand. Nowadays, we hear this term a lot, but what does it entail and what does it really mean? We are eager to hear all about it and learn from her insights and hear her story. Welcome, Shubhangi, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to have you here. Can you share a little bit about yourself and how you embarked on your journey as a personal brand strategist?
Okay, so of course, it was not a one-day thought like I want to become a personal branding strategist. It was an on-the-way process for me. Initially, I started with Facebook ads, but I absolutely did not like the technicality and the lack of creative efforts in running ads. Of course, you ideate, and as a copywriter, you get to do a lot of things. But I did not enjoy that process. What I always enjoyed was to study deeply how these posts without any external push got viral, because then it's 100% organic. And that's how I fell in love with the organic growth thing. I worked with my sister, we grew her Instagram to more than 1 lakh. So a lot of things I did on my own profiles, on close relatives and everything. And then I understood that my forte is to create relatable content, create content that helps people, has a massive impact. So once I did it for myself, I started to take on clients because they started to approach me. It was never like I knew what I wanted to do, and the results were great, like hitting 2 million views in like 8 months for the first project I ever handled, and getting massive leads for that person. He was directly, she was a resume writing, agency, and they were getting good leads from my efforts. So that's how I understood, and then I, zoomed out and saw how big the market is. And in the picture then came my co-founder who told me that this is something we can turn into a fully functional business. So I was not doing it from the business POV. I was doing it, okay, let's try this. This is something that comes naturally to me. So he came and he, structured everything. I was good at the skill, he was good at building. So we came together. So yeah, 100% that you see is not just me. There's a lot of back-end effort that my team and my co-founder is doing in managing everything and to keep this business functional. But one snippet that I remember, when I was 15, I went to pitch an influencer to manage their profile, which of course did not, end into something, or did not get anything out of it. But when I look back, I realized that I was always inclined towards, growing people's brand through organic strategies. And of course, humans I like more because they have a more realistic tone, and the impact is much deeper in that area. So that's how I became a personal branding strategist, after like trial and error and getting clients and getting good clients, and then working with some of the top names in the industry, and then reaching here. So it's a journey, 4 years in this.
That's very interesting to know and amazing to know, actually. And since we're talking about personal branding, I think there are a lot of people out there that are not even aware of this field, right? So how would you define this field then, like personal branding strategist?
Okay, so I think personal branding is an extension of how the platform works and who you are. I've seen doctors who are doing amazing on these social channels, giving awareness about things that have been considered myths. I've seen yoga practitioners, I've seen tarot card readers, I've seen astrologers. So personal branding is nothing. It's just when you don't talk about yourself, your brand talks about you. So you get leads even in your sleep. Like you texted me for this podcast, so I was not actively looking for it, right? So that is something that your brand gives you. And personal branding is an extension of your personality. You cannot create a brand if you don't have those traits in your personality. Like you can be an introvert and you can create an introverted brand that explains it. So authenticity becomes the most important factor, right? So personal branding is all about how quick you step into your client's shoes, understand their story, look at the world from their viewpoint, explain it to your writers, and get their tone out. The closest you keep it, the better it is.
That's very interesting to know. And can you recount some of the most exciting experiences you had while working, and what makes you excited and motivated to continue to do this work?
What one of the most exciting thing that happened was when I was, when I was scared, like I was getting these inbound leads and I was scared, okay, how do I respond to it or what do I do? Because my brand was already thriving. I was at 7K, 8K organically, and I used to get messages and everything. So one of my friends told, you're ignoring something that people die for. You don't know the value of organic reach. And that was an eye-opening moment. Sometimes we don't realize that we are sitting on a gold mine until and unless somebody tells us that this is something I've been craving and I've not been able to set up. So that was the most eye-opening moment from where I took a U-turn. I started to, I started to put everything in line and work in that direction. So that was one thing. Second part of your question was, can you please repeat?
What keeps you motivated and excited to, continue to do this work?
Yeah. So we have a very sweet team, and what keeps you motivated is if a leader is at 8, the team can operate at 6. So what keeps me motivated is I cannot stay at 6 because I want to take my team to 8. So you have to grow. Otherwise, you are not just after a point doing injustice to yourself. You're doing injustice to your business, to the people who come, are excited to work with you and join your team and thrive together. So that is at the core which keeps me motivated. If I don't get business, I can't get them better opportunities and I can't grow in the overall realm. So after a point when you disconnect from things being just about you and you look at the larger perspective, you are able to do more things. Because I was never here to be a business person. I was always here to make my life better in the monetary terms, which happened eventually. But now what? So when that hits you, you are like, okay, let's look at bigger things and let's look at creating more impact, because money follows. That's just the case. More value, more money.
That's very interesting to know. And you, like, the eye-opening moment for you when you realize that people die for that organic reach. And that's very true in this social media world. That is what everyone actually aims for, who's like on YouTube or whatever social media you're on. You're dying for that, right? That more people should see my post, more people should interact with it. So amazing. Yeah. And what does a typical workday look like for a personal brand strategist?
It's pretty much like a 9 to 5, but 5 becomes 9 sometimes because it's your business. You can't cut off, and sometimes it becomes 7 days of complete off if your team is good. Luckily, I have a very good manager with me, and touch wood, she's brilliant at her work. I have a very supportive co-founder. I have a very supportive, HR manager. So it's about finding the right people. So a normal day looks like a 9 to 5, 9 to 9, whatever takes your time. But if you build the right team, if you set up the right model in place, you can automate a lot of things. So that is something. Otherwise, it's just a simple job. You turn on your laptop, PC, you sit on your desk, you have a to-do list, check those things out, you just work on them, and that's how they did. It's nothing fancy. If you are on the other side of this, this window, and you're looking at me, it's not anything out of the world. But at the end of the day, when you go back and you take a sigh of relief, it's like, okay, I put my efforts in the right direction and it's worth it. So that's what I get out of this work. Otherwise, it's a boring work, because anything that you love, if you do it back to back, it becomes boring, and boring is normal. So just be prepared for that.
Okay.
Nothing new will hit you out of nowhere.
That's an interesting perspective. But yeah, if you keep doing something, obviously
also one privilege you have is you can choose the people you work with. You can choose the project. So the ultimate biggest benefit of being in the leadership position, of being a founder of an agency or being the founder of your small business, is that you can choose. Your choices defines everything. But at that time, those choices are not easy to make. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And while you were talking, another thought that came into me, another question that came to me was that how do you come up with these ideas that, the posts that you make, how do you, this is what I'll do now, this is what I'll do next? How do you come about with those ideas?
Yeah, so again, everything looks like so simple. Oh my gosh, she looks so fresh. Her pictures are so good. So from like clicking those pictures to like ideating, everything is a research process for me. Every day my time goes into, like, if my target audience are aspiring freelancers or the people who would want my service, I would trace their pain points.
Yeah.
I would think in a direction like, how would Mahima think if she is an aspiring freelancer? What should I tell her that helps her and she builds a trust on that thing? So once you create content where you give value, there's a lot that comes back. Either you give value or you give relatability. So relatability zone doesn't last much. People forget about you. You become just another writer. But once you pick up a niche and you absolutely help people grow and scale in that area, your brand authority increases. So I'm in the latter part of my journey. I started in the former. I started with broad content and then I switched to only talk about something that helps people. So tracing their pain points. Also, you never have that mindset that every day you feel like creating content. So two things here: A, batch create. B, save every piece of inspiration or write everything that strikes your brain, because sometimes you're in a family function and something you see and you feel like this is an idea. Just write it down. Don't delay putting your ideas on paper, because most of the creativity gets killed in this way. You'll never remember it again. That's not just the capacity of your brain. You'll forget about it. So it's an ongoing process. A content creator or a person who's writing on the internet or creating on the internet is never off job. They're always there. Their brain is always there. That is why they take detox and they quit for 7 days, because in this process you cannot disconnect. Yeah. My sister has grown her Instagram to 100K. She like, there was her wedding like in January, and everybody was instructed to take snippets because that's just her job. She owes it to her audience to show them that part of her life. And she got featured in so many newspapers. She got over like 4 crore views combined. So a lot of people are also looking up to you to share your personality on the internet, and then you owe it to them once they choose to follow you. Of course, the parts you don't want, you can hide it. And yeah, that's just the job that we have, and everything is running with it. So there's no plan B for you. Content creation cannot work with a plan B actually, because most of the days you'll not feel like doing it.
That's very interesting insight. Thank you so much for sharing it. And one of the things you mentioned, that people get ideas and they forget about it. It's very true. Like that happens to me when I'm sleeping actually, and ideas pop into my head, and the next day I forget about it. I'm like, what did I think? Like, what was I thinking about? It's better to write it down. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
And what would you consider an essential skills as a starting point for someone aspiring to enter this field? Is there any specific educational background required?
You need good language in whatever language you're aspiring. Like if you're writing for a regional area, you need proficiency in that skill. Most of the people are doing it in English broadly in India. You need good English. No matter what somebody tells you, you have to improve your basic things like good English. You need a laptop. You can start with a phone, but you need a laptop. You need a stable internet connection, and that's how you thrive. Otherwise you'll keep on struggling. So if you're starting and you have a budget or you've made some money out of it, invest in these 3 things: proficiency on language, good internet, or laptop, and start learning. So there are a lot of resources, but if you choose mentorship, your journey is faster compared to going at 100 resources and finding things for yourself and then trying and then error. So उसमें बहुत time चला जाता है. So if you're from a background where you can invest that money, find a mentor and work with them. Don't find somebody who's 20 steps ahead of you. Find somebody who's 5 steps ahead of you. A, they will charge less. B, you will exactly know what to do, right? Because I always thought a person who clears 12 boards exam is the best teacher. If they score 96 plus, they're the best teacher to the next class. because they have recently felt that. So they know exactly how it felt to be there, right? So the mentor should not be too far from you. That's it. And of course, a lot of patience. This journey will take a lot of patience, a lot of re-emphasis on why you started. So when I started, my goal was very simple. I wanted to make 1 lakh rupees a month sitting in my hometown. And that was the only dream that I had. I got a client due to some, over like exhaustion. I lost that client, my first client. Then I gained clients. Then I started small. I started small. I proved it to myself. I proved my skills. I got the results, and then it went. People are like, आज मैंने शुरू किया है, डे 1 पे मुझे मेरे मेंटोर ने बोला मुझे $1000 चार्ज करना है. ऐसे नहीं होता है. ऐसे नहीं होता है. आपको लगता है ऐसे होता है, तो ऐसे 2 लोगों के लिए होता है. उन 2 लोगों की कहानी आपको सुनाई जाती है. बाकी जो 2000 लोग हैं, nobody tells you about them, कि उनको लोग 5000 रुपए महीना भी नहीं देने वाले. So a lot of soft skills and hard skills come together. All of these mentors are here to sell their programs, but honestly, you have to make a decision at every point. I started from a very small amount, but आपके पास अगर एक अच्छा portfolio है, you can level up your prices, right? अगर हो सके तो work in an agency. Try to understand the process. That is the smartest way. I've seen the most skilled people come out of somewhere when they have worked with someone. So don't be impatient. ये मत सोचो कि मुझे 6 महीने में 2 करोड़ रुपए कमाने हैं, right? Be patient in your journey, because at the end अगर आपने clients close कर भी लिए और आपके पास skill नहीं है, team नहीं है, you can't scale. ये fallback बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है. ब्रांड्स बन जाते हैं, सब हो जाता है, पर अंदर इंफ्रा ही नहीं है क्लाइंट संभालने का, है ना? फिर मार्केट में योर नेम गोज रॉन्ग. सो बी वेरी माइंडफुल कि अगर मैं आज कोई स्टेप ले रहा हूँ, सो आई शुड आल्सो फुलफिल और गिव दैट वैल्यू दैट आई एम प्रॉमिसिंग. People talk numbers because numbers make us excited, but a lot goes in handling a client also. It's not just about closing. It is not just the golden part or the glass that you see on the top. You have to put in work. You have to put in hours. So anybody telling you कि 2 घंटे में make $2,000 is pure BS. They have made this in a year. They have 3 years of agency experience, and then they are coming and giving you this. किसी भी टाइप का प्रोफेशनल एक्सपीरियंस हो सकता है, या फिर आप इतने क्लियर हो कि आपका मेंटर आपको स्टेप बाय स्टेप जो बोल रहा है वो आप कर रहे हो. एक्सेप्शंस होते हैं, लोग जल्दी भी पहुंचते हैं उस लेवल तक.
You were mentioning the mentorship part. So are there any internship or entry level opportunities available in this field? How should one go about searching for these opportunities?
So of course there are a lot of internship opportunities. In fact, social media marketing or ads management or personal branding is a space where people are always on a lookout for talent. You don't have to be the best, you have to know core skills. So the entry level thing is easier here, but there are a few discretions. A lot of frauds also happen. A lot of people get work done and they don't teach you. They actually get you to a lot of work for which they are getting paid. So even if you're doing an internship, it's from my personal experience. If you're helping somebody make money, at least get paid something. Pick a paid internship. Why? Because A, it will keep you satisfied that I'm getting paid for my efforts. B, you will understand what your work is worth. So places like Internshala, places like LinkedIn, here you can bag a lot of internships. Also, you can get in touch with me if you're interested in writing, design, or anything. Whenever there's an opening, we get back to you and we pick up. So the entry is not that difficult in this area. You have to look out for options and start getting in. I did my first internship through Internshala. So that's how I started. So you need some experience, so you should start doing internships at least. But don't get stuck in them, because you have to understand that you're here to learn and to experience and to look how things move in this industry.
Interesting. Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of frauds out there as well. So you have to pick and choose and decide.
In fact, I don't know how my number, sometimes when you're in this open area where everybody gets to connect you over phone calls, my number got distributed. Every month, once I get this fraud message on, 55,000 and 2 hours of work and things like that. So this is not something you're supposed to do. You're supposed to gain a skill. You're supposed to deliver value, and that's how you get work. Also, a lot of people feel that working with agencies is not a good thing. Actually, it is a great thing. If you're good at your work and somebody is great at closing, you can partner with them, and you can actually make your work easier. So look out for collaboration also, and that will be easier, like, for you to start out.
That's great to know. And so, like, for entry level roles, what are the job titles that are available then? Is it personal branding strategist internship, or like what kind of, like, social media strategist? What is the kind of titles that they could look for?
Right. So in my company, we never give them the entire thing because they're not ready for it, right? They don't have the knowledge or the experience to look out at everything. So either they are interning for graphic design, either they are interning for content, either they are interning for profile management. So that's how we disperse it. So the title could be anything, but I don't think if you're a fresher, somebody in an agency will upfront make you a personal branding associate, because for that you need a lot of experience. So either we look that the person should have 1 to 2 years of experience, or they have done work in their personal capacity, or they have been a freelancer, have a good portfolio, and now they're ready for it. So I think in an agency there's a very specific model that every one of us follows. You come, you work with us, we build a relationship, and in 8 to 10 months you get a better role, because it's very difficult for an agency to distribute all the confidential information in 1 month. So it will take time. If you think कि मैं 3 महीने में agency में घुस के सब सीख के बाहर निकल जाऊंगा, that is not going to work, right? Yeah. Because there are layers of scrutiny that we do.
Yeah, and then there are a lot of components as well, so you cannot expect to, you need a lot of experience, different experience.
Absolutely,
to become a personal brand strategist.
Right.
That's interesting. And lastly, drawing from your experience and success as a personal branding strategist, could you share the qualities or skills that you believe have contributed to your achievements? And do you have any other valuable tips or advice for those who are trying to become, get into this field?
You'll have to get your hands dirty. Like, you'll have to get into the area of work first. You cannot directly jump. You have to follow the ladder. You have to go through the staircase. You will start from finding clients. You will write for clients yourself. You will do the entire process, and that's how you build an agency. You should know the core work that is happening. An agency founder or a freelancer who has teammates can never scale up directly. You need to get into the pipeline and understand the process. When you talk about the most important skills, I think soft skills are more important than hard skills. There are a lot of skilled people working under a lot of skilled people with soft skills, because they are good at assembling great minds together, make them functional, work them better. That's what leaders do, right? They don't work on everything by themselves. So I think one thing is soft skills. Be good at human skills. Be good at that will automatically make you good at sales, make you good at client retention, because these two things are important. There's no matter how good service you give, if you're gaining 4 clients and you're losing 5, you're in loss. You can't scale up. You can't scale to a better level, right? And the second most important skill that I've learned from my journey is that you will have to keep patience, and you have to just look at the maximum marks on your question instead of looking how much somebody else has scored. Because in this industry where you have competitors who are also your friends, and you have left, right, center, you can look anywhere, and everybody's having a marketing agency. They are making millions out of that. So it's very easy to lose trust in your process. Somebody is doing it in 1 year, but they don't put it out that they've worked for an agency for 3 years, understood the processes. So it saved them the trial and error, right? So 2 things. First, soft skills. Second, patience, and focusing on the maximum marks on your question paper, what you set out for yourself, what you decide, instead of looking out, because that is an utter waste of energy. It's not like I don't do that. I do that, and every time I do that, I learn something. A, it's an utter waste of energy. B, it's going to get you nowhere. Everything that has led me to a place where I am, I don't consider it success in any terms, because there's a lot that I have to do. But for a lot of people, this is their ideal position. So to answer them, I think work is going to get you here. Putting in hours is going to get you here. Being good with your team is going to get you here. Everything else, just shut it, cut the noise, and focus. That's the ultimate mantra. Nothing else. Nothing fancy.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, the grass always looks greener on the other side. So you need to be very patient, and yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story and invaluable insights with us. Your talent and expertise will surely inspire and motivate many of the viewers to reach for their dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much.